Balatro, Balatro, Balala, Balala, Lala, whatever you want to call it. What kind of deck am I feeling today? I had a lot of failures on the black deck, which is like, how the fuck do you fail on the black deck like a red stake? But I guess it just happened. That's just what we fucking dealt with. That's an interesting start. Let's try to get a full house with that. Alright, that's a full house. I should have skipped, but I'm not that worried about it. Why are you playing the first thing? It's like, I don't. It's... Who cares? You know, we'll get like $1 from it. Both one hand remaining. Luna, what do you think of the Guilty Gear Dual Rulers anime? That's a really good question. I just watched episode 5, right? That's a really big bummer right there. So I just watched episode 5. And it's an 8-episode anime. So by the time you're in like episode 5, it's kind of a big deal. And to me, it's just a ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, the people who are making the anime clearly do not know anything about Guilty Gear, and it's really unbelievable because like clearly Daisuke did not work on it. And I've been saying that since like Guilty Gear Strive. Like I've been saying that like season 2 of Strive, Daisuke's like barely working on it. Like he composes the music, right? We agree he makes the music. He'll like design a character and sometimes they'll get through if the shareholders allow it. And then he'll like pick who's DLC, and maybe he'll do like polls on who the DLC should be or whatever, right? And that's kind of like what's interesting is that like I don't think Daisuke has the control that he should have over his IP, which is the reason why it was popular. It was because of him. But the anime is just painfully like average and boring. The emotions you feel during the episodes are, I guess that's fine, to that's kind of stupid, to whatever. And sometimes, what are they thinking? There's a real core problem. I wanted to wait until it was finished to have this rant, but there's a real core problem in episode 5 that just kind of like proves everything right. But no, let's go back. Like episode 1 is just a recap of the lore and the world building and like what gears are and who Justice was and like what the Crusades were and who Soul Bad Guy is and who Kai is and who Dizzy is and who the characters are. Whatever, that's fine, I guess. It's not interesting, it's not a fun episode, and it's not really captivating in any meaningful way because it's just exposition and lore dumping in the most boring way. It's just a voiceover narration, which is really boring. So that's a terrible episode 1. And then we get to a point where we're looking at it like it's just nothing. Like so Unica is just like she shows up and she's like, I'm a terrorist, I'm gonna do bad things because I saw the future and the gears do bad things because I saw the future. She's from the future, but she doesn't say I'm from the future. She says, I could see the future and the gears are bad guys and I'm gonna do bad things. And everyone goes, wow, that crazy Unica. And Sin's like, duh, I'll try to connect with her. And it's like, cool. But like throughout the show, it's like half the characters just don't even make sense. Like I don't know why Baiken's around, just besides the fact that she has big boobs. Johnny is just around because people like Johnny and he's cool, but he doesn't really do anything. Ram Lethal shows up and all she does is like babysit an impenetrable barrier that was made by Kai to protect him and Dizzy when Unica attacked Dizzy. And Dizzy was about to do some like necro shit and blow everything up, and Kai was like, I'll use the Thunder Seal to make an impenetrable, invincible seal that can never be broken no matter what. So Ram Lethal, one of the strongest characters, is like, I need to babysit this and do nothing the whole show. Okay. Whatever. So Kai and Dizzy are written out in the first half of episode 1, like they're just not even in the rest of the anime. And then Ram's also just written out. Didn't even need to be written in, but she's written out in the same way. Elfelt shows up, and we all know Elfelt's like the room temp IQ like slams her head onto the ground, gives herself brain damage, girl failure. She analyzes complex bioweapons and uses her detective and like intuition, like her skills of deduction, detective work, and intuition to figure out the bad guy's plans and any traps that are laying ahead for her and the other characters. So she'll like sit on a desk full of like books and science and have a bunch of screens open and be like, hold on, I'm analyzing this bioweapon that was used here. I'm almost done figuring out how it works. And she's reporting all of this to Jacko, who is a scientist who does not really fight people like ever until the anime, who is on the ground getting in gunfights and is a soldier. Essentially, is like a special forces like soldier getting into fights when ENVfelt is the one who like has a gun and fights people, and Jacko's the scientist. So I don't know why those characters got like flipped in the writing room. And this is what I mean with my theory of they wrote a bunch of blank characters, as in like this character should do this, we'll have a character who does this, and we'll have a character who does this. And then they said, alright, who's popular? Okay, ENVfelt, she can be the scientist, I don't know. Leo Whitefang, he's important. Yeah, he can be the guy who calls the president every episode on the phone for some reason, I don't know. And I mean, that one like kind of makes sense, I guess. Who's Ramlethel's ENVfelt's sister? I don't know if she's as popular, so let's just have her babysit the barrier. Jacko's cool, she can fight people, I guess. What does she have as a weapon? Like, oh, like little fucking like minions and candy? We can work with it. Just give her a gun or something, I don't know. And it's like what the fuck is happening? Like, none of these characters makes it. Like, a Johnny can be cool, he'll just show up and fight guys, and Biken will show up and fight guys for no reason, and then Bridget's in it. But she's actually important, by the way. You know, Bridget, the character who's had no lore relevance or plot relevance since she was made, like 20 years ago. She's had zero involvement in any main story or any even side story. She's not a character. She's just cute. Any information on Bridget is like trivia. And that's like all she is, because she's just not a fucking important character. Like, I don't know what to say. She's just not an important character. I don't know what to tell you. And that's a really big fucking bummer that she's like an important main character. It's not a bummer, it's just like, I would be okay with it if it wasn't like obviously just to sell merchandise, right? Which is what it's for. And we all kind of know that's exactly why she's like in the anime, is just to sell merchandise. But anyway, so none of the characters really make any sense on like what role they play in the in the anime. Like, it just doesn't make any logical sense. There's like some cool fights. It's a bummer. There's some like cool fights between like some things, like Soul Bad Guy, like before his first fight, is like making like a gadget, and he's like, and Sin's like, what are you, this is important, by the way, I need you to remember this is actually important. Sin says some bullshit that he should know already, and Soul is like, no, don't worry, I just lost the flame of corruption, I'm still, you know, stronger than you because I'm a fucking gear. And he makes like he just makes some toys, and then he gets into a fight and he throws like a bunch of grenades and like has this like punchy fist that malfunctions, and he's like, oh, that sucks, and he throws it, and he has a cool like hype or a moment where he pulls out his actual fucking weapon for one scene, and it's a really cool frame. I can give it that. But anyway, yeah, it's like, yeah, no, Soul Bad Guy's still like the strongest guy, he just doesn't have the flame of corruption anymore, he's still a gear. Anyway, moving on, like, Sin and Unica fight a couple times, and Unica's like, I can see the future, the gears are bad! And Sin goes, I asked you how your fucking day was, okay, Jesus Christ. She's like a person who goes into McDonald's, like, hey, how are you doing today? Diet Coke. Like, okay, shit, I see you're on a fucking game plan here. So, they fight a couple times, and then eventually, like, Unica's about to like really like hurt Sin this time, so Soul Bad Guy pulls out a Mosin Nagant and shoots her with a bullet from a gun and she has this like magic electromagnetic barrier, and Soul Bad Guy says to himself, yeah, that's a bullet from a gun. You cannot use your barrier to guard this kid. Parry this, you casual, and fucking shoots her with a 7.62 round. And then like Sin like jumps after her, like accidentally like activates like a command gear thing, and like they both like land safely. So Sin just accidentally used like a command gear power, which is the shit Justice had. I can talk about Justice later. I want to get through the anime before I get into just the lore rant. So we can talk about Justice later, but like basically he can control gears because he's a command type gear. That's all you need to know, and that's just how it is, because that's how gears work. So Unica just fucks off despite like getting shot and falling off a building and like whatever. She just disappears in like a second, I guess, I don't know. And she wanders down a back alley and then collapses, and then fucking Bridget, of all fucking characters in the world, collects her, like scoops her up in her arms, undresses her, stitches her clothes. She wakes up, feeds her soup, and says like some shit to her, and they have like a really like awkward conversation because Unica's like, I'm gonna fucking kill everyone, and when I'm feeling better I'm gonna kill you, and she goes okay. And then like later they sleep, and then Unica walks out and sees Bridget taking a bath, and it's like a 30-second fucking scene where Unica just stares at her. Bridget like notices, turns around, covers her chest and waves, and Unica like stares, looks down, stares, her eyes do like the wavering like that thing, and then basically like she's just like, maybe it is worth it to live. And then she starts getting second thoughts about everything. She has this key that she just this MacGuffin that she got from an earlier episode that is gonna activate like a satellite laser that blows up fucking Illyria or whatever, which by the way, like earlier landed directly on Elfelt's head as a test fire and glassed the entire fucking area. And everyone, like Jacko and fucking a bunch of other characters were like, we lost contact with Elfelt. I'm really worried about her, because she was on her like detective work shit looking for clues and getting like field research samples for her science that she does now, I guess. And then Sin gets word of it and is like, holy fuck, I don't think Elfelt could even survive that. And Soul Bad Guy is like, she's got a pretty thick skull, she'll be fine. And then it fucking cuts to Elfelt like just being completely fine because her head is so thick because she's so stupid that her like me when I give you a brain-eating amoeba, oh, it only affects your brain so you're completely fine, is the joke. And then she's like, alright, it's a good thing my rock-solid fucking bone head protected me from this goddamn super mega death laser. Now I can go research the fucking, like, samples I got on this bioweapon to understand its complex functions and then figure out the enemy's plan using this. Okay, pick a fucking lane, like, come on. What the fuck are we talking about? Pick a lane, what the hell? Jesus Christ, like, are we serious about this? Anyway, because fucking Unica saw Bridget's, like, naked fucking body, she's like, I don't want to kill a bunch of people for no reason anymore. And that's the end of episode 4. And, like, Paradigm shows up in episode 4 as well to talk to Sin about being, like, the king of gears or whatever, because he's a command-type gear. And then he's like, we can like go to, Sin, you have options, you can like make us all kill ourselves, or use all of us to make a portal to go to a different dimension where gears never existed, which is how they're gonna bring like Lucy in or some bullshit. Or we can like just overtake the fucking humanity. Sin, you have all of the options in the world as the king of gears. And Soul Bad Guy says, shut the fuck up, Paradigm, holy shit, you're annoying. Which I liked that scene because I was on the same page. And I said at some point, I said after watching episode 4, like, here's like what I think is gonna happen in DMs. I said, so they're clearly setting Sin up to be like the king of gears, but he's obviously not super into it and also a fucking moron, so I don't think he's gonna have a lot of fun doing that, and that's just not his kind of character or his like burden of responsibility. So I'm assuming Unica, who has like dragon wings in other scenes, is and just like the red eyes that Dizzy has is very obviously a fucking gear. And let's be honest, she's probably a command type gear, because she's, also in episode 4 it gets revealed that she's from the future. And I'm like, okay, she's got red eyes, she's got that blue thing in her hair. Like, I'm like, okay, so she's probably just like some like alternate universe reality version of Justice, or some future fucking like bloodline descendant of Justice. So she's obviously also going to be a command type gear. So when Sin's like, no, I won't do it, Unica, whenever she's like chill, is gonna be like, oh, I'll do it, and she'll do something good, or like whatever, it'll just like fall in her hands, and then eventually they'll both like kind of be about it, which is why, hence fucking dual rulers, right, is why it's called that. Next episode, episode 5, holy shit, this is when you realize Daisuke and like everyone who worked on Guilty Gear had nothing to do with this shit. The first 5 minutes of this episode, I didn't even talk about him. There's a character who is Mr. Evil Very Bad. He shows up and he's like, I'm a politician who thinks we should kill all gears. And Kai goes, if this is my wedding, I don't, like, you know my wife's a gear, right? And he's like, yep, and if it were up to me, she'd be fucking hung and killed. And he goes, alright, shit. Okay. So, like, and that's the first interaction you have with Mr. Evil Very Bad Man. And you just go, okay, that's Mr. Evil Very Bad Man, and he's got the evil mustache and a huge fucking evil nose and chin, and it's like, just imagine like a cartoon villain. Who's the bad guy in fucking Go-Go Gadget fucking whatever? It's probably that guy. It was just like, imagine a cartoon villain, that's him, that's Mr. Evil Bad Man. And then he like does some shit and like, whatever, he shows up a couple times and he's like, I think genocide's fine, and people go, alright, that's fine, you're a fair and normal politician who does nothing wrong, and we can't really do anything about you, even though we know you're doing something bad and you're advocating genocide, but you know, you have political power behind you for some reason. In episode 5, he goes on his fucking like, also in the other episodes, I remember this, there's like Unica's like talking to a secret, like I said, like the villains are Unica, Evil Very Bad Man, and Distorted Voice on the Radio, which by the way is just Mr. Evil Very Bad Man, that never gets like a big reveal or anything. It's just like, it's literally just fucking weird. Like I don't know what it's like. Unica like talks to a Distorted Voice on the radio, calls him father, and is like, I'll kill everyone for you, Dad, don't worry. And then in episode 5, she's just like, hey, Dad, sorry I was late. And it's talking to Evil Bad Man, and it's just like, I guess that's who the Distorted Voice was. That's the big reveal. Anyway, 5 minutes explaining this guy's backstory in episode 5, and it's literally just, I want to kill people because they're bad. And I don't just want to kill the gears, I want to kill the people who are strong enough to kill the gears. Because they're strong and they're bad, and I want to kill people because I want to be the coolest guy in the world, and I want to rule the world. And I'm going to take control of the world and kill everyone. So I'm making a virus that attacks gear cells and kills them. So he's like, alright, I've made the virus now with like no previous information because they were doing like terror attacks and about to fucking nuke area. But he was actually working on a virus this whole time, guys. I guess. And Unica comes back after hanging out with Bridget, and he was like, you're late. And she was like, do we really have to nuke Illyria? I'm kind of having second thoughts. And he's like, what? Oh, no. Like, no, what are you talking about? We don't have to do that at all. And she goes, what, really? Wait, seriously? And he goes, yeah, I just made this virus because I got plans from me from the future. Me from the future gave me the recipe to make this virus. And so the reason Unica comes back was because Mr. Evil Bad Man in Timeline A made the virus, infected a bunch of gears, and they all went berserk instead of dying. Okay, that didn't work. I'm gonna send the recipe to the virus and Unica back in time to myself to try and fix it this time. Remember that, by the way. Just remember that. So he sends Unica and the recipe to the virus back in time, And this is when that's revealed, by the way. This wasn't revealed earlier. So Unica's like, here's the recipe to the virus that I know you're gonna use. And I'm also here to, like, do things, I guess. And then she's like, what? You made a fucking virus with the recipe of the virus that I gave you? What? That's crazy. Whatever. And then every character shows up to their evil lab at the same time he just finished making the virus, I guess. He's like, I just finished it. It's time. He's like hugging this giant vat in the middle of the room. I just finished the virus, he says. It's finally time. I finally made it right this time. And then Unica's like, all right. And then everybody shows up and they fight a bit. And then they like fucking, and then he gets like a gun. He gets like a needle gun. And he like puts a vial and a needle in it and aims at Sin as he's fighting with Unica. And then he shoots. And then Soul Bad Guy like grabs him, breaks his hand and says, yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do, but that's not gonna happen. And you see the needle hit the tree. And then Jacko's like, that must be the virus. All right, we got him. And then Sin starts screaming because he's affected by the virus. And it's like, what? And the guy's like, that wasn't the virus. That was just the accelerator for the virus. I actually injected him with the virus 3 episodes ago. The virus that I just announced to myself alone in my laboratory that I finished for the first time. I don't know why I said that to myself, but I did. Gotcha. I was actually, and also like I, we'll circle back, and then fucking Soul Bad Guy was like, well, what the fuck is, what the hell? And then the virus doesn't actually kill Gears. It like, he affects Sin with it to have the power of the command gear, and the virus makes Sin say, all right, every gear kill yourself. Because that's what the virus does, I guess? I don't know. And then Unica's like, oh no, I'm killing myself. What? And Mr. Evil Very Bad Man goes, yes, Unica, my fake real daughter, I don't know yet. You are a gear, and you know, like, you're cool and all, but I just die. And then Unica's like, no, and she's really sad, and this is how it's like, oh, Unica's like, terrorism is okay because her dad was super evil or whatever. And then Unica like is like, wait a minute, I remembered Bridget's ass. I wanna live. And then she starts living, and the guy goes, what the fuck? And then Soul Bad Guy or like Jacko or whoever goes like, oh, she's also a command type gear. Because she's... And then Soul Bad Guy's like, oh yeah, I remember. I fucking analyzed her blood an episode ago. And she's like Sin's younger sister who's probably Justice. So she's a command type gear. So Sin's saying, all right, everybody die, and Unica's saying, all right, everybody live. So all of the gears go berserk again. All right. And then Soul's like, all right, well, fucking how do we stop it? And Mr. Evil Very Bad Man is like, I don't know, but me from the future has the answer to all of your questions. And then him from the future on cue shows up. It is just like, hey guys, I'm the bad guy from the future. Is that me? Hold on, let me kill myself real quick. And he eats him. And everyone's like, oh, that was fucking weird. And the guy's like, yes, you can see my master plan. So in my timeline, I fucked up the virus because I made all of the gears go berserk instead of dying. So there was a second crusade. So I sent back Unica and this recipe back in time. And it failed because all of the gears went berserk again. So now I'm showing up because I don't know what to do now on cue, and the plan is already fucking failed. Also, I'm a gear now because I don't know. And everyone's just like looking at him like, okay. Fucking like Soul Bad Guy's just like looking at his watch like, is this guy still fucking talking? Like, what the fuck does any of that mean? That does not happen, by the way. They're all like shocked or whatever. And then like Sin's like, I'm gonna be evil now because I'm gonna control all of the gears. And then you see like Testament. You see like Testament and like a bear and a dragon all die, and then you see them like be normal and then go berserk because Unica started acting up, and Soul Bad Guy is like, I'm just fine even though I'm a gear. But obviously he's fine because he's, you know, the guilty gear. Why is he the guilty gear? Oh, because he didn't listen to Justice's commands, because he had something that Asuka gave him called the Flame of Corruption. Wait a minute! It's like established that he doesn't have that anymore. So like, I don't know, that's a lot of research for the fucking writers to remember that, oh yeah, Soul Bad Guy would actually be susceptible to this now because he doesn't have the fucking MacGuffin that made him immune to it in the first place. Whatever. I don't know. Who cares? Oh, well, it's because, like, you know, he's like a guy who has gear cells, but it showed Testament, who's also just a fucking person who has gear cells. So it's like, oh, it also affects Testament, so it was very similar to Soul Bad Guy, all things considered, so it should fucking affect him, but it doesn't. I don't know. And it's like, oh, it's just fucking crazy, because it's like, okay, one, that's ridiculous. I don't think they know their own lore. Two, the guy who is time traveling on fucking cue fucked up his plan 2 separate ways in the exact same failed outcome. And it says, fuck it, I'll go back in time myself to the point where it was already fucked up. And he's like, I am here now and I'm evil. And Utica's like, oh no, I'm I'm a terrorist, but my dad's really evil and I don't know if he's actually my dad, and he's killing me and he's gonna kill all of the gears and also all of the people and also do a bunch of so she's gonna be like fine, like it's not her fault she pipe bombed the civilian houses because her dad was mean. Like, what is happening? What are these characters? What the fuck is the plot line? Like, what are we talking about? I don't get it. It's asinine. It's ridiculous. I'm probably missing things that are like annoying as well. There's probably things that I'm like not remembering right now that's also just like ridiculously annoying and convoluted. But it's just that episode 5 just like is like the only reason I watch it was because episode 4 it was like, here's how Unica turns into a good guy, naked Bridget. I'm like, that can't be real, and it was real. And then episode 5 somehow makes it worse, and it's just this ridiculous fucking mess of like of time travel, of like fake outs, of not remembering how the fucking like lore of the characters and the world building works, of just mischaracterizing everybody and just not knowing anything, like how like what's the limitation on the time travel? Why does he not just do 1,000 different things with his seemingly limitless fucking time travel? Why is he showing up on cue? How did his plane fuck up twice? How was that not accounted for? Did he in the future know that Unica was a command gear and would fuck it up? Or clearly fucking not, because he goes, oh wow, you seriously fucked this up even though I sent Unica to help you. I didn't realize you were so useless. It's like a surprise to him that it didn't work. And then he kills him because he's useless, but it's him, it's Mr. Evil Very Bad Man who's doing that, and Soul Bad Guy is just chill, I guess, and then Sin's like, I'm gonna be evil, so Unica can be like, well, I'm gonna be good now, and you've been telling me to be good this whole time, Sin, so now I'm gonna tell you to be good. And Sin will be like, you're right, Unica, I can overcome this virus because I don't know, or whatever, and it'll like do some shit like that, and then there will be like another big like reveal with like the guy will be like, I'm actually in my timeline I ate every single gear and I'm as strong as all of them exponentially, and I am so strong that I killed Asuka and Happy Chaos and the Super Eno from the Strive story because that's how strong, and I ate all of them and I have all of their powers. And Unica and Sin are gonna be like, we need to use all of our powers to make all of the gears fight you or some shit. That's probably how it's gonna go. I don't know, it doesn't matter. That's just about as fucking banal of a thing I could think of, so that's probably how it's gonna be. But like, it's just it's genuinely ridiculous. I cannot comprehend for the life of me who wrote this shit. Who actually wrote this shit? Anyway, I think we're gonna go ahead to the big blind anti one here.